What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking about the RayBan Meta Glasses. I didn't even want these. I didn't even want to make this review on them. I didn't even want to keep these, but I kind of fell in love. Let's get into it. These are the Generation 2 from Meta for wearable glasses tech. First, they have the RayBan or the Meta Stories, and those were just not very good. They were like a 5-megapixel camera. The battery life sucked. They were heavy, but these they've taken a big step up in their second generation, and they've done a really good job. The first thing they did right was pairing with or collaborating with RayBan. So they have these as the RayBan typical Wayfarer type glasses, which are super popular and look good on a lot of different people. The overall design in terms of structure, you're not going to notice that big of a difference between these and just your standard Wayfarers. They also have a second style that are more of closer to maybe a Clubmaster, that are rounded off. And they have them in different lens colors, but not that many different frame colors, which is a bit disappointing. In terms of look and feel and finish, there is a downside in that they're a bit heavier on your face than just standard sunglasses. I went to Disneyland recently and wore them kind of all day, almost about 10 hours. And I did notice there are some marks on the bridge of my nose because they are a little bit heavier, kind of pushing in that weight on there. And the back of my ears, they're a little bit heavier there, so you're gonna get more weight. And it was kind of irritating. From time to time, I did find myself taking them off and putting them in the case. Next, I wanna talk about features of what these offer. First of all, I bought them as a photographer for the cameras. I love that they can have a point of view camera on my face at all times where I can quickly and easily just press a button or say a command and start taking some pretty high quality video. I mean, these are 12 megapixel cameras and they only shoot vertical. So that comes to a con in that you don't get any landscape portraiture or video at all. Number two, the video quality is not 4K. It's shooting in a higher resolution and then it's shrinking it down with some digital stabilization, which it absolutely needs. So the video quality ends up being 1080p, a little bit better than 1080p, if you will. In very non-technical terms, the camera and video, the photos and videos coming out of these are pretty good. They look good on your phone. That's kind of what they're designed for right now. The quality kind of peaks out there. If you're gonna throw them on a bigger screen or a computer or something, you're gonna notice some pixelation and some, graininess in the darks and all that kind of stuff. But look how small they are. I mean, these are a tiny little lens in the front of your glasses that you have on you all the time. And it's kind of like an extra camera, if you will. And it does provide some really cool POV type stuff. If you're working with your hands and you're doing YouTube tutorial videos for makeup or a mechanic or something where you're working on something and you want to use both hands, now you have a really cool POV and it's effortless. You don't even notice that they're there, and you could start and stop the videos on command with your voice. And I think that's a really cool, useful, productive tool for a lot of people. But is it worth the money? That's the other caveat. But let's not get there yet. Let's talk a little bit more about quality. I would say I would compare these to my iPhone 13 mini. I loved that, maybe the 12 mini, 13 mini, in that era. I love that camera. I use it a ton. I didn't complain about it. And at the time, it was groundbreaking technology in this tiny little phone. It's about the same equivalent as what you're getting out of these. Very good stabilization. That's the thing that kind of blew me away with the video, because they shoot it a little bit wider, like an action camera, and then they punch in with digital image stabilization. The videos are so smooth. I mean, look at this. It is smooth video, and I'm running or on a skateboard in a lot of these, or walking, and I don't notice it at all. It looks really clean. And in bright, daylight, you get good quality. It looks like a oversaturated, very vibrant, GoPro type of image. And I'm okay with that. Coming out of these, great. That's wonderful. That's all I need. I'm not complaining about that. It does suffer in low light. That's where you start to, all small cameras and small sensors, that's where you start to get problems when you get into low light or indoor situations. I also noticed some weird color science, shifting of colors really wildly, going from dark to light or looking in one direction and looking into another direction. You'll get these really bad green color casts on people. But the camera's just shifting and it's adjusting, and it can look really wonky for a second or two, but then the camera adjusts to those settings and you get rid of that. Another small quirk, I mean, I know going into it, is it only shoots 1 minute short clips. That's what it's kind of made for, is that quick social media or stories type of shooting where you're only shooting for a minute and then it automatically cuts off. But you kind of forget about this, and that's where it kind of gets frustrating, is you don't have a monitor that you're looking at. You don't really have even a very good way of seeing that the camera is rolling. There's a little small flashing light on the bottom right of your face, but it's kind of hard to see, especially in sunlight. And so just the other day, I was riding a roller coaster and I clicked record, and I didn't even realize that, you know, it took a while for us to get up to the top of the roller coaster for it to even start, and it stopped, cut off that 1 minute recording. And then I forgot that it had stopped, so I didn't record anymore, and I didn't see the light flashing because it was too bright out. So you kind of just miss your shot, and that can be frustrating. I wish there was a better indicator of when the camera is recording and when it's not on the inside. On the outside of the camera, the very bright white light will be flashing, but you can't see that from inside at all. Now, some other small quirks that you need to be aware of is keeping your horizons level. Wearing these is almost impossible. Like your shots are always going to be a little bit askew, and that can be really, really annoying for a video person like myself. Like, I like my horizons level, especially with photography or whatnot. And they do have this like feature when you, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So they do have this feature. The app is wonderful. I really, really like the Meta app that comes with these that they pair with. I mean, transferring the photos is quick and videos is quick and easy and efficient, and you don't have to do much. A lot of it is automated. When you're charging the glasses or when you're wearing them, it'll open the app and it'll join, and it just quickly and easily syncs them over. And then there is tools within the app, a lot of AI powered stuff, which is pretty cool. One of them being like an auto crop. So it tries to level your photos and even them out. It worked pretty well. Sometimes it was a little bit funky, but overall I would say it's a really good tool. But the reason they need that is because it's so hard to keep your horizons level and to square up your shot while wearing the glasses, especially if your face is a little bit crooked. I think mine might be, and this accentuated that fact. And also, like, when you're looking left and right, I mean, for example, it's hard to, but when you look right, your body tends to like typically like move them a little bit, you know, crooked. And the same thing when you're looking left and right, and even looking straight. I mean, a lot of times my shots were a little bit wonky and a little bit crooked. It bugged me. I don't know if it's gonna bug like the normal general person just using these for fun. I don't know. But that is a little quirk. Unless you're in bright light, a lot of the shutter speeds can be too slow for any type of movement, whether it's you or the subject you're shooting. If they're moving at all, you're gonna get a blurry shot. And I got a ton of blurry photos, and so it was kind of frustrating on the photography side. I ended up learning this, but like, it's also weird if you're taking a photo and then you're like, you have to remain like super still while you're shooting the photo. That's also weird. And your subject has to remain still, and it's a little bit slow. It like, click, click, click. It's like 1, 2, 3, and then it takes the photo. So movement is problematic, and you're gonna get a lot of blurry photos. Once you get used to it, you can get that knocked down a little bit. The one thing I was really surprised with is the bump from 3 to 5 mics in this second generation. It's like 5 mics of adaptive audio recording. Really impressive. Like, these sound great for what they are. I mean, they're small microphones built into a pair of glasses, and you can't really see holes or whatnot in them. They sound great. I mean, it's a little bit louder as the person's speaking, obviously, because you're so close to them. Then when you're having a conversation with someone, you're gonna hear them a little bit less. You don't pick up a lot of like room tone and weird environmental noise, not a lot of like wind noise. Just really impressive stuff from really small mics. Now you get 32 gigabytes of internal memory storage, and that was kind of a weird work through. Like, you have to plug the glasses in, and they plug in via your case. It's a magnetic adapter inside the case. And then you can plug them in through USB-C here to charge the case, and those in turn charge the glasses. Connect to the app, you have the app open, and then the files transfer over into the app. From what I understand, that is the only way to do them. I don't think you can transfer it through the cable. I could be wrong. If I am, hit me with a correction below. My workflow with these was transfer them through the app and then put them into photos on my phone, and then from there I'd move them to a hard drive or whatever. Really not hard at all. So seamless workflow, just took a little bit of time to getting used to. Battery life in these glasses is pretty good. They're rated a little bit above 3 hours. I got a little bit under 3 hours. Maybe about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on how much video or photography or audio that I'm listening to. You get up to 36 hours when you keep recharging them in the case. And I think in about 20 minutes, they can recharge half the battery. So you get about 1.5 hours of use per 20 minutes of charging. Up next is audio quality, and that's where these sold me. I'm a big headphones guy. I'm listening to podcasts and music and audiobooks and phone calls, and pretty much 24 hours a day. I'm always listening to something. I love having things on in the background when I work, and that's where these really, really thrive. I mean, they are really impressive audio quality coming out of these little tiny speakers. Open ear speakers, I've not really used a ton of them. I've tried a few and wasn't that impressed. These blew me away. I mean, the bass is good, the trebles are good. I'm not really an audiophile, but overall, I mean, compared to like even just AirPods Pro, these sound really, really good. And they sound not like stifling in your ear or muffled, if that's the right word, because they're open air and they're sitting right above your ear. They sound like really natural, like you're just listening to a nice pair of speakers like in front of you. They sound really good. These can get pretty loud, like surprisingly loud, being that close to your ear but not in them. You can crank them up and you can listen to an audiobook, even like a fairly noisy environment like a coffee shop. I can still be listening to a podcast, no problem. And most of the time, here's what I'd say, the breakdown, like at 50% volume, I think only really I can hear these. Even someone sitting like 3 feet away from me pretty much can't hear the audio that I'm listening to. They may be able to hear that I'm listening to something, kind of like if you have like AirPods in, you can hear that they're on, but you can't make out anything at all. And about 75%, maybe that person can now pick up, hey, that's like Beyonce that you're listening to or something like, or at 100%, like they're gonna be able to hear it too. Like that's how loud they are, from what I found. The other nice thing is the audio controls, or the controls in general, these things are really intuitive. There's a touch sensitive panel on the side. So you can tap or slide, sliding it right, it turns them up, sliding it down, left turns them down. You could double tap for pause. You could set those all up for custom settings as well. And it's very accurate. Like I found like even the lightest touch will be able to read and pick up on there. So I mean, there's not very many complaints I have about them, to be honest. Now let's talk about just a few like functions. How do you use these things? These are new tech. Turning them on and off, there's a little circular button on the inside of the left earpiece. And then on the right earpiece, there's a button on the top of the earpiece. And you could tap that to take a photo, press and hold to start a video. And that brings me to probably their biggest tech that is in these, and that is the Meta AI that is built into this. It's a voice conversational assistant that you have built into these without the need to like download software to your phone or anything like that. They're built in. They sync with your phone, so your phone does need to have a signal for these to pick up and pull information. But I mean, you can ask Meta like so many different things. Hey Meta, start your photo, or hey Meta, take a photo, hey Meta, take a video, and it will start and fire up. I have them off right now because I shut this a little bit before and it was doing all these crazy things I was talking. Hey Meta, I use it for calculators all the time, like when I'm running bills or payroll or stuff like that. Like, hey Meta, what's 327 divided by 462? Like, boom, it'll pop it out. It's fast, it's accurate, it's easy to use. I'm not touching anything, so I don't have to stop my workflow if I'm typing or editing or doing anything like that. Really, really useful stuff. Like stuff that like, I'm not an AI person really. I'm not like a Siri user. Siri sucks. I use this way more than I'm using Siri lately. And they're already built into a piece of tech that I'm using to like listen to music. So it's just a lot of like little tech that's all into one package. Also, I went with the transitional lenses so that I could use them inside. I actually knew that I would be using them more inside than outside. They kind of bug me, to be honest, because when I'm in the car, they don't transition very well. They don't darken up a lot in the car. Granted, all my cars are tinted, so maybe that has something to do with it, that it's blocking out the UV rays. But it's like so annoying to be wearing these in the car, wanting to wear sunglasses and it's still bright. So like I'm squinting and doing this stuff, and then it's like, why the hell am I wearing sunglasses that aren't even sunglasses? My own fault. I should like spring for a second pair to wear in the car, but inside really, really useful. And then when I am outside into direct sunlight, they do get really dark. So I like the transitions for that. I don't want to be like walking through Costco wearing shades like an idiot. Now there are some negatives to the AI assistant. Hey Meta doesn't work well with iPhone. Like if you ask it to make you an appointment, set you a reminder, ask you about calendar things, anything that has to like penetrate into the iOS is not gonna work. Like they just don't function well together. And so it's kind of frustrating because I forget that a lot of times. So I'm like, hey Meta, set me a calendar reminder tomorrow at 4 o'clock to, walk the dog or whatever. And then sorry, I can't do that. And it just happens a lot. Like what I find myself using it most for is almost like a voice activated search engine. I'm asking it, it's giving me answers, and that's what it's really, I think, ideally meant for at this stage. Maybe it'll get more robust as like different generations go on or firmware updates go on. I don't know. But right now, that's kind of all I need it for. I don't need it for a ton of other things. And then let's talk about price and value. Like, should you actually buy or invest in these? And like, my opinion was, I didn't even want the new Apple, like, I don't want to spend $3,500 on anything right now, let alone something big and clunky and just cumbersome. I just, that wasn't me. And when I saw these, I was actually in the need for a new pair of sunglasses anyway, because I broke my last ones and I lose them all the time. B, I want to shoot more like just family stuff and like just fun stuff, like little memories like here and there that I wouldn't, you know, bring my camera out for. And these are perfect for that. I'm also a big fan of like small action cam, like POV type of stuff. So I love the angle of these. But you know, they are $300 or close to $400 in this setup right now. It depends on like what lenses you get and what frames you get and that sort of stuff. That $300 to $400 price range, that's no chump change, but it's also not that much more expensive than the Wayfarers by themselves. Like you're talking about 140, 150 bucks just for the Wayfarers with no tech. So for like $150 more, you're getting so much tech built into these. Now the caveats are, can you handle the weight, number one? Do you mind like walking around with little cameras in your glasses? Like that is also something that you need to think about, because it can get embarrassing. Like a couple times I was in the grocery store, like hitting record just to remind myself of something, like, oh, I need to buy these or those or whatever. And then I'm talking to the butcher and there's like a flashing light. I'm like, he's like, dude, are you recording me? And I'm like, oh man, that's really embarrassing. Yeah, no weird way. But I think these are really best for is like traveling, family, vacation type videos. Like how many times have you been traveling, going down a lazy river at like a water park or something, and you don't have a camera with you because you're not gonna bring one with you, you don't bring your phone with you, but hey, now you have sunglasses on and boom, you can capture a memory or a quick photo or whatever because you have them easily accessible. Love that. Also love that you could just be chilling on a lazy river, listening to Bob Marley and be chilling out and not be wearing headphones or anything. Now these are IPX water resistant. So, I mean, I've used them in like some rain or mist, but definitely don't go jumping into the ocean with them. I think you would explode them. But overall, like that's the perfect situation for something where you're not going to use your phone or a camera and you still have all of this on your face ready to go. Love that. Like that's a perfect case scenario for what these are good for. If you do want to check them out or purchase them, please use my links below. It helps me out with a small channel, and if I provided you with any valuable information here, hit me with a thumbs up, like, and subscribe for more tech interesting videos like this. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.